Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Dani Dishes. I actually can't believe that I have been doing these videos for well over a year now. I originally started them because I dislike the sound of my voice, so I thought that if I just started doing these video blogs, that maybe over the course of time, my mind would get over the fact that I don't like the sound of my voice. But here's what happens. I just don't actually listen to the vlogs after I film them. So instead of actually getting to like my voice more, it hasn't really changed. I actually freak out when I hear that my wife is listening to one. I'm like, turn it off. So maybe if I just keep doing it, at some point I will get over this little hiccup. And I really don't know why I don't like my voice. It's just something that has always been that way. So it's just a funny thing that I started this for a specific reason and it ends up being something totally different, which is fine. A lot of times I like using the vlog as a way to kind of think through some of the issues that might be going on that would be a little bit harder to do through the actual written word on the blog itself, weightoffmyshoulders.com. So the video allows for a little bit different way to be able to work through issues. The other thing is that I love to answer questions and to really be able to interact with you guys. So please feel free to send any sort of questions that you might have, because sometimes they're easy to answer through the vlog than through the blog. Got that? B. Totally works out. So I also like to use this as a way to kind of overview the last week. And so it kind of is a nice way that every Tuesday I'm able to just kind of think back about maybe what worked and what didn't work, reflect back over the last week. And so one thing that I've found is that since Ragnar, I was going through a little bit of a post-race blues. And some people ask, how can that possibly be since you're always racing? Good question. So I would say it's kind of the build up to the race can be totally different. So something like the Boston Marathon obviously is months and months of training, fundraising, there's a lot of emotions that go into it. Then Ragnar was a 2-day event that I had never done before, running with people I had never met before. So there was a lot of emotions attached to it. So that kind of shows and kind of brings the level of intensity for the race to just a different mark than, say, a 5K that I may do on a regular basis, or there's not as much hype up on it. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. So after Ragnar, I was like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen now? I'm kind of lacking the mojo. And I shouldn't, because I'm wicked excited to be going to San Diego in 2 weeks to run Rock and Roll San Diego full marathon with so many of my blogging friends. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get there and to just soak up all of the awesomeness that are those people. If you want to know more about them, just look up the hashtag #WeRunSocial on Twitter and you can see some of the best friends that I have made thanks to social media. But I digress. So once Ragnar was over, I kind of went into some post-race blues because I know that I have San Diego coming up, but it was a little over 3 weeks in between. So there was a little lull. And that's where apparently my motivation and my mojo went missing. I'm not sure where it went, but it was just one of these things where it's I didn't want to make the right choices food-wise. It's I really didn't want to go for that workout. Now, granted, thankfully, the running streak kind of saved me, so I was still doing some motion, but it's I didn't do the extra swim workout that I should have done. So there was some blah going on. Now, some people will say that it's because I am over-training or over-racing or over-traveling. Not really the case. This has been, I'm kind of used to the level of activity that I've been doing now, thankfully, knock on wood, because it's kind of actually less than last year. I ended up doing 52 races last year. This is a little bit different. But that being said, I still felt a little lost. And I know that the mojo also goes down as the amount of poor food choices goes up. So it's one of those things where I just had to basically go back to basics. So what happened was Friday was weigh-in day and it went poorly. It was up 4.4, which is the same exact uppage it was after the marathon. Interesting. But that was kind of the kick in the pants I needed. So I was still in the free lifetime range for Weight Watchers. So for that range, I have to weigh in once a month between 153 and 157 to still be considered a free lifetimer. So the weigh-in on Friday was 156.4, so still well within the range. I'd actually gone about 5 pounds under goal during marathon training, but I liked the buffer, and it's something that has come recently. It's not something that I had had in the past. So I wanted to stay motivated and focused, and I just wanted to make good choices. I was just like, what is going on in my brain that this is not being able to know that I should be choosing those strawberries over the chips, but it's like kept going for the wrong choice. So I think one thing that helped find the mojo again was just stepping on the scale, just being able to use that as a fresh start. So not necessarily harping on what the number said, but was just using it as a clean slate. So for me, it was stepping on the scale that marked a clean slate. For others, it can just be like a new day or a new bite or like buying a new tracker, whatever it may be. But being able to really signify like this is a fresh start. The second thing I did was I sat down and planned. Not extensive. It really was like a couple days of like, these are the things I need to make sure that I have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And to also add some variety. So I got a little sick of eating strawberries. Love strawberries, but I was having them every single day. And I was like, I don't want to look at another strawberry again. Now, it's funny because talk about this all the time in the meeting room. Sometimes the leader doesn't necessarily listen to what she or the other members are saying. So I was in a food rut. So this week already, I've kind of switched up which fruits and vegetables I'm having to try to add some variety. So really trying to focus on being able to have the new and exciting healthy choices in, really reclaiming it as a fresh start and looking back. So some people say they don't like to look back at the past because it is the past and some people live in the past, yada, yada. I like to look in the past to refocus, to be able to say and remind myself that I don't want to go back to that person. So being able to look back at old photos and also to like how I felt when I was first starting to work out again after back surgery really reminds me how thankful I am to have my health now and to be able to do these workouts really helps kind of kickstart. So I think the major 3 things I did this week to kind of reclaim the mojo was set a definitive fresh start, switch up the foods that I was having to make them new, exciting, exhilarating. And 3 was to really step back and show how far I've come and to really ask myself, will this decision help me reach my goal? Whether it be food-wise, fitness-wise, whatever. So that is what is helping this week. So I will report in next week to see how it went. Crazy that at next week's Dani Dishes, the blog turns 4. It is absolutely insane. Oh my gosh, I love it. So let me know what has helped you reclaim your mojo. Write it in the comments below. Send me a tweet, Irish Eyes 1982. But just let me know what works for you. I'll see you guys next week.